is the meaning of the A.UK movement certificate that is mandated by the legal text of the Northern Ireland Protocol backstop as regards GB EU trade. What needs to be declared within that, and what is it?
Okay, so I think that's another detailed question. If
right.
You need
well,
an
I can
answer
help
on.
you with that, because what it actually says is that it has to be a physical paper certificate that is given to the company that's making the consignment. That has to be must be wet stamped by a customs official when it crosses the border. And then the companies need to keep those certificates for 3 years and can be inspected by the Commission, the EU's Commission, to see that it has complied. That is rule. What has to be declared is where the product is from, or that it's had its duty paid. So how is that not a massive and very antiquated friction that is in fact different from the electronic declarations that are currently available within EU law for third country trade? How is that not a much worse deal than not having a withdrawal agreement? And how is that not, in fact, the cliff edge that this government is proposing to set up? Secretary of State?
Well, if the I will need to check on the exact status of the form that Ms. Fysh mentions. But were we not to have a withdrawal agreement, and were we to leave the European Union without an agreement, in other words, I think we would face widespread potential disruption to business. Again, where there are ways of minimising that, then I think that the government would consider that. But I think ultimately, and to go back to Mr. Leslie's question earlier, although he's rather bothered about my brush with reality, I think that we are having to make it, as I said, the backstop is not something that we want to see. I don't think it's something that either side want to see. I, in fact, see it as an incentive for us to get an agreement before we would ever get there.
But can you understand, though, Secretary of State, how people who read the text of the withdrawal agreement, the legal binding agreement, see it as, and I've mentioned two of the hostages to fortune, one is that friction that I just mentioned, the other one is defence industry. There are a host of other ones, and every single country in the EU, all 27, will each come with their own thing that they want as their price of letting us out of the backstop fallback and into something else. And is it not just utter, monumentally stupid, wishful thinking of this government to think that that is somehow something that they're going to say, oh yeah, sure, the UK, you want out of it? Fine, we'll give you whatever you want. Never going to happen, is it?
Well, I think that there's, as I said, and as the Attorney General said in the House of Commons, there is a calculated risk here. I also repeat that for others...
It's a calculated risk, a bit like putting 5 bullets in the chamber of a revolver and playing Russian roulette with it. It's utterly stupid.
Because I repeat what I said earlier, that there are those on the other side of this negotiation who think that what's been negotiated gives Britain an unacceptable advantage. Now, I know that some of us find that difficult conceptually to grasp in this country.
The government does, that's correct.
But there is the view that this is advantageous for the UK, because there are those, and I've spoken to them, who say this means that if Britain doesn't get what it wants, Britain will be able to camp in the backstop, not make any contribution, not have not have free movement, and still have access to the single market. And I know that's not how, from a certain British perspective, it's viewed, but it is a real view. It is a real view that is expressed from the other side.
I'm going to leave that disagreement. Before we move to him, a little